I tried so hard to let go, writing poetry and rhymes just to get you off my mind. It's either yes or it's no. I'm not a yo-yo on a string that you flip and twist and swing. I'm not gonna vibe tonight. You don't get everything you like, 'cause I'm not ready. If I'm not ready, I'm not gonna vibe tonight. You don't get everything you like, 'cause I'm not ready. If I'm not ready, second guessing your words, 'cause you choke right when I see that you're all I really need. But if I'm honest, I know this whole thing has been a sign that I'm running out of time. I'm not gonna vibe tonight. You don't get everything you like, 'cause I'm not ready. If I'm not ready, I'm not gonna vibe tonight. You don't get everything you like, 'cause I'm not ready. If I'm not ready, I'm not gonna vibe tonight. You don't get everything you like, 'cause I'm not ready. If I'm not ready, I'm not gonna vibe tonight. You don't get everything you like, 'cause I'm not ready. If I'm not ready, you don't get everything you like, yeah. You don't get everything you like, yeah, 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 yeah. No. I'm not gonna vibe tonight. You don't get everything you like, 'cause I'm not ready. If I'm not ready, I'm not gonna vibe tonight. You don't get everything you like, 'cause I'm not ready. If I'm not ready,
We are the music makers, and we are the dreamers of dreams.
Hey everyone, welcome to Meanwhile Back at the Lab with Paximus. I'm so glad you guys are here. Thank you so much for taking some time out of your day to be here with us, with me and my special guest, Sven Lauwers, and we're going to have an awesome conversation today. Thank you, Aparna, for being here, for Surfer, Vander, Brody, Your Honor. Guys, thank you so much for being here. If you haven't done so already, I would love for you to hit the subscribe button and the like button. And of course, you can just go ahead and check in the description below. In the description below, you'll be able to see Sven's information and where you can find his YouTube channel and other links as well. So please feel free to go ahead and go to his YouTube channel and subscribe to his channel. We're going to have an awesome conversation with Sven today, and I'm really excited. I'm really looking forward to having this conversation with him. And I believe I actually found his channel about, over a month ago, maybe something like that. And I was like, yeah, I'd love to have this conversation with Sven. So Sven's been good enough and kind enough to say, yeah, let's go ahead and have a conversation. So anyways, we're going to go ahead and dive into our conversation with Sven. And without further ado, Sven, thank you so much for being here. It's so good to see you.
Thank you for having me. I'm
Yeah.
happy that I can be here.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't know about you. Correct me if I'm wrong. I'm really excited, but I think you also kind of feel pretty excited to be here, only because it's like it's a mixture of feelings, right? you may feel excited, maybe a little nervous or something like that, but that's okay, right? So I'm just
Yeah.
kind of curious to see how things are going with you.
I'm trying to hide my nervousness behind the excitement. That's what I always try to do.
Yeah, right. Well, Sven, thank you again. This is, I'm looking forward to just having this conversation and getting to know you, a little bit, and giving people a chance to get to know you as well. For those who may not actually know you or, may not know what you do, could you tell us a little bit about what you do and how you kind of got started on the YouTube platform?
Yes, so obviously I am a Study With Me streamer. My channel name is Sven Lauwers Studying. My real name is Nick though, but most of you already know that. And I started my channel about 7 months ago after a really terrible semester at school because all the classes were online and that was not good for me. I had trouble concentrating. I did not pay enough attention during class, so I had to try a new way of studying and getting motivated.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I started my channel. I I did not watch any streamers before actually starting my own channel. I I just started streaming myself and I did not watch anyone else. I guess that's kind of funny. That's a step that I skipped.
You know what? It's funny because usually that's the step that's most pivotal
Mhm.
for any study streamer.
I
so
did not take that
so
step.
you kind of bypassed it and you're like so I'm kind of curious though, Sven, like what prompted you to do that on YouTube? Was it just the
Mhm.
accountability because you had that bad semester and you're just like I don't know what else to do and I think this might work?
Yeah, I have a lot of work that I need to do for school. I think physics it's pretty difficult for me, but I really want to do it, and that's why I feel so motivated.
Mm,
And yeah, I had to find a new way of studying. And then, funny enough, study vibes. Helene, she's also from Belgium, just like me,
right.
and she was on the news like right when I needed her. And I have never heard of Study With Me before.
Uh-huh.
She was on the news. And I was like, yeah, maybe I need to try that. And then I did, and it worked out. So,
Yeah. Well,
mm,
and I know that there's people here who are part of your live stream. And so if you guys have any questions for Sven, please feel free to put into the chat. You can put in question and then type in your question, and then we'll just interweave those questions into our conversation to get to know Sven. But Sven, if you can do me a favor and just kind of also tell me a little bit about kind of the background, the history of you going into I believe it's physics, but you I
mhm.
saw on your channel that you posted it said experimental physics. Is that like an actual subject that you were
Yeah, it
going
was a
towards?
subject where we had to do experiments, and actually that was one of the subjects that required me to do the most schoolwork, because we always had to do an experiment, and then we had to write a lab report about it, and
Mm-hmm.
it took a lot of time. And that's actually how I started my live streams.
Mm-hmm.
With I had it was 1 week supposedly vacation, but I had to work an entire week on my lab reports.
Oh,
And so the first week of my study streams are just me writing my lab report.
yeah. And so what if you don't mind me asking, and it's okay, you can push back on this, but like what is it that got you interested in physics to begin with? Like what were there any other things that you were more interested in and then you kind of turned your attention to physics?
I guess I always liked like science.
Mm,
Even in elementary school, I was already, I think, pretty good at mathematics.
mm.
And then in high school, it was the same. Mathematics was my favorite subject.
Wow,
um,
that's that. And so most people
yeah,
I talk with, their favorite subject is like language arts or science or history. But it's kind for me personally, it's kind of rare to actually see people who are not only gifted in math but who really enjoy it. So you're kind of the few that I've actually encountered.
yeah, I know a lot of people have weird reactions when I say that mathematics was my favorite subject, but also physics and chemistry. But chemistry became too difficult in the last 2 years of high school,
Hmm.
and I guess maybe that's why I chose physics, because it was easy for me in high school. I repeat, in high school, in
Hmm.
university, it's on a whole other level.
And we actually, I think so. We have a couple of questions or one or two questions that are coming in.
Questions
Aparna,
already.
thank you, Aparna, for being here. How do you feel about doing streams? Thanks, Aparna, for your question.
How I feel about doing streams? Well, during the streams, I try not to think about the people that could be watching me, but of course, you cannot always avoid that. So,
Right.
yeah, but I think I managed to do quite well. Only when there are people that I know in my personal life, if I know that they are watching, then for the first 5 minutes, I'm like, I can't concentrate. But only if I know them in real life, then it's might be a bit troublesome.
Yeah. Yeah. And the other follow up question from Aparna is, how do you feel about physics dynamics?
As in the subject.
I'm
I
assuming.
don't.
Yeah, I think so. I think so.
Well, um, ah, difficult question. I think it's one of the subject that I'm okay with. It's not one of my least favorites. It's not one of my favorites because that's particle physics.
Hmm.
That's what I'm interested in. But I still don't know what I want to graduate in, which masters I'm gonna do.
So that which was one of my questions was like, do you
Mhm.
have any like career mindset at this point, or is it still like for you? It could be experimental, where you're just trying to test the waters, trying to figure out what it is you're really interested in. I mean, we've kind of seen from what you've said so far that you're definitely in the experimental physics route, and then kind of morphed into something more defined. But like have you already considered maybe some things in the future?
I'm not in the experimental physics side, not yet. But
uh,
that's something I choose in 2 years, normally next year.
oh, I see.
So I can still choose to go to the theoretical part or the experimental part.
Oh, I
But
see.
no, people ask me a lot, what do you want to do after you graduate? What job do you want to do? But I don't know. I always tell them I want to make a lot of money. It may be a weird answer, but honestly, that's maybe one of my motivations
Mm,
is, yeah, I want to make money. I don't know yet what kind of job I want
right.
to do. I will, I have something in my head that I want to say.
Hmm.
Stress moment, help, Paximus.
It's okay. It's all right. I was just giving you some leeway there. If it comes back up, please let me know. Okay. But yeah,
It's already okay.
yeah.
Yeah, it's already okay. Thank you. I was just a brain fart and
Oh no,
I
it's okay.
needed you to talk about something. No, so what I wanted to say is I will already be happy if I even graduate. So I don't think about the job yet. I just think about graduating.
Yeah,
That's what I
and
wanted to say.
maybe that actually is too much pressure, and most likely you
Mhm.
might actually feel that, right? When people are asking, especially continuously, they might be asking, um, you know, like, what do you want to do for your future? And you're like, I don't know. That's a lot of pressure, you know.
Not really pressure because I don't care what people think about my decisions
Hmm.
concerning job and study methods. So I
Gotcha.
don't, yeah, I just do my own thing, and as long as it works, then I'm happy.
Well, that's actually a good thing then, because then that does alleviate a lot of the burden, not worrying about what other people think. So that's really good. We do have another question from Aang, I believe. And how did you stay motivated when you didn't have as many viewers? Thank you for your
Yeah,
question.
so yeah, good question, Ang. When I had exams, there were a lot of more people watching because I did 10 hours of studying every day, but now I just do 4 hours then and then 5 hours another day.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot less people come by.
Mm-hmm.
Does it make me less motivated? Maybe a tiny little bit, but I know that there will be a lot of people again when I have exams again. Does it make me less motivated? Mm, yeah, I think I have to say yes a little,
Mm,
because I think maybe if there were like 100 people waiting for me every day, then yeah, I would try to do 1 more hour like
right.
extra every day, stuff like that.
And I'm kind of curious, Sven, because there's sometimes we encounter these similar situations with you and other study streamers who feel like there's like an obligation almost, or
Mm.
perhaps maybe a better word would be a responsibility. Do you feel that when you're live streaming? Do you feel like you have a responsibility, or does it feel more like, I'm just doing my thing and whatever helps people helps people?
I think it's a bit of both.
Mm,
I do feel a responsibility
mm,
to live stream and study a lot. But see, that's a good thing. That's why I do this, to study more and study better. And
mm,
that's also something that I really saw, like I saw the result of it last semester. So it's good that I feel that responsibility. Otherwise I would not have studied so much for my retake exams. So
yeah.
yeah, I do feel responsibility in a good way.
Hmm.
But yeah, most of the time, not always. Like 2 days ago, I had a stream, but I did not stream 2 days ago because I did not have enough sleep. And that's the first time I did it actually, like not doing a stream. That was in my calendar.
Oh, that's interesting. So you probably fell into the idea of like, well, should I sleep or should I stream? And you elected for sleep because sleep is kind of important.
It was more like, should I party or should I stream? And it was partying.
Oh, you're like, well, party
Yeah,
sounds good right now because I need to alleviate some of the stress. We have a question from Vander. Thank you, Vander, for your question. How do you deal with burnout? Or, and if I may echo that question, Vander, have you ever dealt with burnout? And if you do have that experience, how do you deal with it?
I, yeah. The question already started, what is burnout? But I don't think I ever experienced one.
Mm,
Like maybe a little one.
mm-hmm,
Um, I Yeah, my exams didn't go well. That's why I started streaming.
mm-hmm,
But even though if an exam of mine really did not go well, and like, yeah, I failed this one, I still came home, and then the day after I kept studying. So it didn't bring me down. So
mm-hmm,
I think I would not get a burnout pretty easily. But 2 weeks ago, I did not feel very good, and I was thinking like, is this the beginning of a burnout? But
mm,
it didn't turn out to be one. Yeah, there was no reason why I felt so. I felt like I had a lot of responsibilities
mm-hmm,
and things to do, but it was not. It was not true. So yeah, 2 weeks ago I was maybe on the verge of one for no reason at all.
mm-hmm.
I don't have a lot of experience with it. So that's always why when people ask for tips about burnouts or stuff like that, being depressed, I don't know what to answer because I'm not experienced. I'm not the right person to tell you what to do
Mm.
in that situation.
Well, it's kind of a good thing in some, in some form. You don't feel like especially when you said depression, that's something that maybe you don't really deal with, and that could be a good thing, obviously for you. I think that there's quite a few questions that do flood in, though. I would assume about the case of depression or anxiety or burnout or things like that. Is that true for your community?
Not a lot, but yeah, enough to remember
Yeah.
that I don't know what to answer.
We have a question from Your Honor, and that's a cool moniker. So thank you, Your Honor. That's a cool name. Question: when will be the next gaming stream? We need a new shirt.
Yeah, we do need a new shirt. Um, I guess probably when I have exams again.
Hmm.
Definitely when I have a long stream. I will not do it when I have a stream for 5 hours. It needs to be a full 10-hour study stream to do it again, Your Honor. So you're gonna have to wait another 3 months. It needs to be special. We can't do it every week. Yeah.
Let's see. I think this is another question from Aparna. I usually find many new streamers who are working hard for months but can't make a place in the community. So, do you ever feel demotivated? As you said, you are doing it for 7 months. So, you've been doing it for 7 months. Do you ever feel kind of demotivated for that?
No, because I know the reason why I don't have a lot of followers now is because I don't stream like regularly.
Mm,
But especially in the beginning of like my first 2 or 3 months, I even get 100 subscribers? I think not. It took me a while, but that's also because the quality of my streams was not good at first. But no, it doesn't bother me that much because the most important thing is still the studying.
hmm
It helps me motivate and study more. That's what I try to focus on. And sometimes I focus on other things, and then I need to keep in mind, Sven, you need to think about studying, not the views, not the likes.
yeah.
Studying.
Well, and it's funny. Along with other study streamers, whether you first started out, or you're in the middle of it, or towards, like, in the middle of exams, you can't help it because you're essentially multitasking, right? You're as a host for the platform, you are worried about the glitches. You're worried about, like, the
Mm.
connectivity, making sure that people have a good experience, as part of studying with you. So once that's all aside, then you can focus on the studying. But part of our brain can't help but just kind of wander. Like, I hope everything's working okay. And I assume for you, that's been happening quite a bit. Like, when you probably first started, just making sure that things are okay. Do you still feel that way though, after 7 months of study streaming, or do you feel like, it's it's fine?
I think I solved most of the technical problems, but yeah, like 3 months ago, I still had a lot of troubles with the Wi-Fi disconnecting, and I
Mm-hmm.
switched to another streaming platform. So I guess over time you have less and less problems.
Mm-hmm.
But it goes slowly, but they go away eventually.
Yeah.
I think now almost everything is all right, and also having moderators on YouTube, it's a lot better. You
Yeah.
don't have to look at the chat like every
Mm-hmm.
yeah the whole time. It really helps. I think maybe I had my moderators pretty late. I should have gotten them sooner, but
But it was a
I'm
process though,
happy that I
right?
have them.
Yeah.
Thank you.
But it was a process of trying to figure that all out, as you were steady streaming and, bringing in monitors or moderators at a certain time. So, um, we have a question from Aparna as well. What do you feel about the hustle culture? Like, the streamers who do 15 hours or 12 hours every day, like, it's not bad, but it's still, like, abnormal, I personally think. So that's a question from Aparna. How do you feel about the hustle
Can I
culture?
first ask you what hustle culture means? Because that a word I don't understand. I
About
think.
Yeah, about hustle culture. So just like, the people that are, working study streaming for like 15 hours every single day, like, and, how do you feel about that? Is that something that you're like, oh well, I don't really care, I don't have an opinion on, or you do actually think it's kind of a big deal, to
Yeah,
stream for
I
that
think
long?
15 hours is something I cannot comprehend. I would not be able to do 15 hours because, yeah, don't they need a lot of sleep? Because I need 8 hours of sleep. But if I were to stream for 15 hours, I would obviously not be able to sleep.
Hmm.
So I guess in that way, maybe 15 minutes, yeah, I think it maybe is a lot, but maybe the person doesn't need a lot of sleep, or maybe he's used to it and he's fine doing it. As long
Hmm.
as the person's happy, then they can do whatever they want.
Yeah.
But I stream like I studied 10 hours, so the stream also looks like it's 12 hours when I
Right.
have exams. But it's exams, so I would do it anyway.
Hmm.
You need, I need to study long hours when I have
Right.
exams.
Yeah. We do have a question from Your Honor. Thank you, Your Honor. Question is, what is your comfort food?
My comfort food would be, I guess, pizza and fries. But first place, my favorite food is pizza, which I'm
Hmm.
going to eat tomorrow.
Yeah. I mean, I even
Yeah,
plan it out
pizza.
for the whole week, you know?
Really? Yeah, pizza. I can eat it every day.
Yeah, I think that's one of the meals that I can actually have every day. No, no questions asked. If you have a slice of pizza on the table, I'm probably gonna eat it. Um,
Yeah, but I was gonna continue talking about the pizza.
yeah, go ahead.
It's
Go
my
ahead.
favorite food. Yeah, I always pick the pizza margarita, so the basic one, and people always complain. But hey, it's my favorite food.
You're like,
I
don't
always
don't
get
hate me
complaints.
because it's my favorite food.
Yeah,
We have a question from Yarn. I believe that's how you pronounce it. I could be wrong. How did your
it's
family
Jarno.
respond to you streaming?
How did my family respond? Well, my father, he still thinks it's pretty weird to stream.
Yeah.
Yeah, he thought it was abnormal, but he supported me because I'm very strict with the hours. Like when I have exams, it's 6 a.m. Okay, now the food needs to be ready, and it's ready. I mean, he's amazingly supportive. Yeah, it's 12:30. Okay, now I need to eat. 6 p.m. All right, now I need to eat. So he's supportive, but he thinks it's weird. My sister, I don't know, she understands it. I think a little bit better, but not everyone in my family knows it. They're still knowing it like one at a time. I'm still telling them one at a time.
So I'm kind of curious when they finally find out, is it just by happenstance that they like walk by and they're like, what are you doing?" You know, or like is it just like how does that happen where they find out?
Yeah, of course, I just told my father and my sister that I was going to do it.
Mhm.
But then how do friends and family find out? I guess I just tell them, friends, I tell them one at a time. Like actually, because I don't want like all of them knowing at once because I know for a fact that they're going to laugh at it. So that's not what I want. So I'm just telling them one at a time. So on here, yeah, it's just that's the reason why I'm
Well,
telling them one at a time.
and you even mentioned you're like, you know, when other people are watching you, for some reason it doesn't seem as nerve-wracking, but when it's people you know, that's when you're probably like a little bit more nervous, you know?
Yeah, true.
Yeah. Let's see. The other question is, what is the one? Oop, there we go. What is the one thing that you wish you learned before going to the college or university that you're at?
Well, um, there was always this one thing in high school that they say to the students. That's
Hmm.
that in university you're not gonna have tests throughout the years and tasks that you need to do for grades. Like they say that everything is going to be the exam, but that's a total lie. I have a lot of work during the year. I have a lot of tasks to do, a lot of tests, but they said there was going to be nothing and just the exam.
Wow. So mentally, they totally prepared you for something completely different.
Yeah, I guess it was kind of to scare us in like keeping up with every subject.
Mm.
I don't know if it's just for physics. Maybe they're not lying to everyone, but just to me.
I
Yeah,
wonder if it's just singularly like just for physics, or
I don't know.
because again, I find physics kind of a really important subject, and like I mentioned before, not a lot of people that I know are in that field. So it's very interesting and intriguing to me that when people I know are in that field, and the way that they explain it through high school is that they said, I was taking physics like basically in high school, and it piqued my interest, and that's why I continued with college. But the coursework that they talk about is never really explained. They just say like, well, I mean, it's hard, but you just got to do it, and it's just it is what it is. But they never talk about like once they get into college how much work it is. So that's why I'm kind of curious to know like your feedback as well. Um,
Yeah, people always told me that it was going to be a lot of work, and I always said, I can do it. I'm going to do my best. And then I started my first year, and I said, wow, it's really a lot of work. And then my father said, yeah, everyone told you.
We were trying to prep you, but there's only
Yeah,
so
I
much we
was
could
I was
say.
just not listening to them. I just wanted to do it.
Um, Aparna has another question, and it is: do you ever experience the shyness of studying at a camera in the initial time? Like when I first opened my camera on Discord, I was always like, how am I not acting much weird? Do you do that also? So like I mean, I think we might have already talked a little bit about that, but the
Yes.
shyness, I think, is
Yeah.
partly the major question. Do you ever experience shyness through that?
I still have some things to say about that, yeah, because I am a shy person with people that I don't know and in large groups.
Uh-huh.
So it's kind of weird that I do the study streaming because sometimes a lot of people are watching me,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't feel that shy talking to everyone. But a lot of people told me at the start, like, you look shy sometimes. But
Oh.
then I'm like, no, I'm not being shy right now. So yeah, I am shy when when there's people in the chat that I know in personal life, and sometimes there are. And also one example where I was shy was in the Discord. I only did it once when some people were studying in Discord with their camera on, and I was just so afraid to go in the Discord call to see their faces. I don't know why. I was scared to do it. I still only did it that one time.
Oh, so you haven't
Just
even done it beyond that one time. It's just you've always kind of
no,
kept it like the avatar screen, you know. Um,
I don't study in the Discord, but they did often when I was streaming with their
yeah,
camera on, and I clicked on it once, and then I saw everyone, and I don't know.
just panicked.
I can't explain it. Yeah, I was feeling shy, but I don't know why because they watch me. But when I
Right,
watch them, then I feel shy.
right.
There's no logic.
Well, and I've actually heard this a couple times from other study streamers because they tell me a little bit of the experience where they go on Discord and they encounter the people that have followed them. So it becomes at the very beginning a little overwhelming because you're like, whoa, like I think it almost becomes even more real because you're like, oh, I know who you are, like this is who you are, or this is who you are, this is really cool. But for a person who may be shy, that's like just overstimulation, right? It's a lot to take in.
It's really not that bad for me. I'm happy when I see people coming back and like people who've been with me for a long time.
Right.
That's a good thing that we can talk in chat and really get to know each other.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I
Yeah. Speaking of, the amount of people, how do you feel about fame?
I don't feel famous. I didn't walk on the street yet and someone like, hey, you're Sven Lauwers. No, didn't happen yet.
No, that's tomorrow when you get your pizza.
Yeah,
Yeah, that'll be
yeah.
tomorrow when you get your pizza.
There was once a person who was also studying physics, same age as me, but in another city. So I was like, no, in another universe we were in the same class, and then he could have known me, and then I would have been famous.
Right.
So I don't feel famous.
But you're on your way. You're on your way. And with the money that you're gonna make, it's just gonna all come together at the same time. So
It would feel so weird, like getting recognized, but I don't know if that will ever happen, and it's totally fine if it won't.
we have so this emoji doesn't actually show up on my screen, but it says, "Can you draw this? You got this on the board."
Yeah, but I don't know what I should do now.
I don't know
How,
what that
how do,
emoji is. I think because it just doesn't translate on my screen, but I think I might know what it is. I just haven't seen it.
I can look it up. I'm already doing it actually.
It's okay. Go for it. Um,
You this oh so mm, Is it just like an emojis with a thumbs up?
I think so. I think so.
All right. You asked for it.
You asked for it. Here it goes.
I'm not a professional artist. Not at all. A good circle.
The perfect circle.
Not so perfect smile. Now the most difficult part. Five fingers. Yes, all right.
Hey,
Here
you
it
know
is.
what? It looks good to me. It looks good to me.
Can you
How about
see
you
it?
guys? Perfect. And MJ Oatmeal, who's another study streamer, just got into the chat. So it's good to see you, MJ.
Hello.
Thank you so much for being here. Let's see. Oh, and the other question from Your Honor is there a point that you want to give up and change your degree? Is there any point where you want to give up and change your degree?
I'm really afraid that that point is gonna happen. Like I don't want that to ever happen. And if I'm gonna have a burnout or a depression, then it's gonna be at that point where I realize that okay, I can't do this because I still have like always this underlying feeling that maybe I'm not good enough to study physics. So yeah, it's always somewhere in my mind when I have exams or have to study a lot because I have the feeling that I need to study more than my classmates.
Hmm.
So I hope it will never come because part of the reason is I don't want to do anything else than studying physics. But it's just so difficult. But I hope it will never come to that.
Well, and we do have a question from Vander about study techniques. So, are there any particular study techniques that you elect to use for your own benefit and even for the benefit of others?
Yeah, but study techniques like the Pomodoro method, or what other study techniques? Because yeah, my study technique is just streaming with the Pomodoro method. That
Hmm.
works just fine. But it took me a long, long time to find out how I need to study, and I think it should be for everyone like trial and error. You just need to try different things and then stick to the one that works the best. But it took me more than years, like
Mm.
until I knew how to study, and turns out it was just streaming. That's what worked for me. But
We
yeah, it took me years.
so it took you some time to kind of figure out what works for you and how and I think what we're talking about here is you study streaming, putting a camera on you, keeping yourself accountable in that way. That does help you quite a bit. So we have a question from MJ. Thanks, MJ, for your question. Things you like and hate about streaming.
Whew. I did not really think about that question actually before. About the hate part. Of course, I like that I study way more, and I like interacting with the people. That's something I really like, interacting and knowing people that come to your stream like every day when you're there. It gives me a nice feeling that you're not studying alone. And things I hate about streaming, I don't know. I did feel a little bit bad 2 days ago when I didn't stream.
Oh,
So
because it
maybe
was
that's
part of your schedule and you didn't end
yeah.
up doing it.
It was in the schedule and I didn't do it. So I I did not feel like extremely guilty, but I should have studied. But there was also a guilt of not streaming that day, but also because not studying.
Right. So you're like,
I,
it's one or the other.
there's nothing that I really hate, except maybe if people were to find out and laugh at me for having this channel, which they shouldn't.
Well, and you know what? It's so funny to me. Like, I've actually seen a couple people through Discord. I've been talking with other streamers, and they've said like, who actually like puts a dislike on someone like, studying like on their channel. Like,
Mm,
who puts a dislike? Like, oh,
yeah.
they didn't use the correct pen. I'm gonna dislike this video. Like, it doesn't, it just never really registered for me either. But I find it kind of interesting that
Yeah.
that
Every
happens.
stream there's always a dislike. Don't ask me why.
Yeah. You know, whether it's, I mean, it's actually a good thing, I guess, in the long run, because it does help with the YouTube algorithm. But you still like,
Does it?
I don't know if you've ever experienced that, where like you see a dislike, and does that actually change the way that you interact with the chat, or do you feel kind of like, oh, did I do something wrong or anything like that?
Not at all. Not at all.
Oh,
Those
good.
1, 2, or 3 dislikes, I don't care about them. It's as long as there are more likes than dislikes, then that is good for me. Otherwise, there's a problem.
Yeah.
But yeah, like some people said it in chat, like, "Oh, there's a dislike. Who would dislike a study stream?" And I'm like, I don't care. They can dislike, they can like.
Right.
Yeah, so that's not something that demotivates me. Like one dislike. Usually, maybe it was by accident. I sometimes accidentally dislike a video, so maybe it's an accident.
Yeah,
But
and
then
that
most of the
very
times,
well
I
could
think I
be.
see the dislike.
Yeah. We have a question from Brody. Brody, thank you so much for your question. What is your usual routine for a day of an exam?
Oh, yeah, good question. Interesting question because, yeah, I think for everyone this should be different. Probably if I look at my days of exam, but it also depends on the exam. Like I had one easy exam about astrophysics, and it was in the afternoon. Afternoon exams, I no. Morning exams are way better because if you have an exam in the afternoon, then you have the whole morning to stress about the exam and maybe studying. But studying before an exam is not something that works for me.
Hmm.
So I try not to study, but have everything done at least by the day before. Yeah, but the astrophysics exam it was really relaxing for me, and I did a workout, and I was lying in the sun, and the exam went well. But other exams, yeah, I'm stressing, and I maybe I try to. No, I'm not trying to sleep longer. I go to bed earlier before an exam. Like if I have too much stress and like I don't want to study anymore, and I go to sleep earlier.
So you've never actually gotten to the point where you had to cram for an exam, or has that happened for you?
Cramming for an exam means that you have to like study way too much in a short amount of time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, yeah, I did have to do that for my introduction class to quantum mechanics,
Mm.
but I had to cram so much that it was not possible. So I did not go to the exam at all, and that gave me 2 other days to study for the next exam,
Mm.
which I ended up failing. Yeah.
I mean, I'm not laughing at your pain. I'm laughing with
No,
your
of course.
pain.
It was meant as a joke, but it's true.
Yeah.
I can also laugh at it.
And we have Ellis Warren, who's here, who's a YouTuber, by the way, guys. And we're gonna actually have a conversation with Ellis Warren. So Ellis, thank you so much for being here. It's good to see you. So we do. If you have any more questions, please feel free to put it into the chat. Just put in capitals. You could put question or just Q, something like that, and then type in your question. We'll go ahead and start wrapping up in just a little bit. Let's see. The advice for those who want to start studying streaming. That's a good question. Thanks, Your Honor.
Advice for those who want to start study streaming. Um, Important advice: just start doing it immediately. Don't wait for better equipment.
Mm.
That's something I did. I started with the most terrible webcam possible, and I just did it because I was already studying even with a bad webcam. If I started like a month later when I had a better webcam that I'm using now, then it was a month of studying more than, so it was a month that I would lose. So I would say start like immediately and just do it at your own pace. Yeah,
Hmm.
just do what you feel comfortable with. The equipment doesn't matter that much, in my opinion.
And I would echo that, Sven. I would definitely say, like, if you guys have any thoughts about doing some study streaming, because in kind of the case of Sven, where he wanted to have accountability, like do exactly what Sven was saying. Like, don't worry about like getting high class, like awesome equipment or anything. Just start doing it. I would echo that for sure. Um, what are some future plans that you have for your channel? It's a good question.
Yeah, future plans. Well, I guess the future plans for my channel, in terms of special live streams, I do want to do more special live streams, like the gaming edition live stream. It was fun, and I definitely want to do it again.
Hmm.
Also, I want to invite people to the stream. Like I invited a friend, and he studied with me at my desk. I want to do that again, also with exams. So yeah, inviting people over to study with me, and then the Discord needs to be upgraded a little bit, but Jarne is doing a really good job. I know nothing of Discord, so I'm happy that I have someone who helps me.
Well, that's good. Someone who
Yeah.
can moderate, for you and just kind of keep the community going and everything like that. We have another question from MJ. Thank you, MJ, for your question. How do you feel when someone asks you the classic questions for streamers? What motivates you to study? Which seems to be a very common question.
So now you're going to ask me that question, MJ. uh,
I didn't want to say
what motivates
anything.
me? Yeah. No, I find that especially difficult to answer because I don't know what motivates me. I guess I always grew up with just having a feeling, yeah, you need to study, school is important. So I don't need to be extremely motivated because I just think it's supposed to, you're supposed to do your best for school. And that's what motivates me. Also, yeah, wanting my degree, wanting a physics degree is really motivating enough for me. Just
Hmm.
knowing where I want to get, that's my motivation. I just need to get there.
And we have another question from Ang. Were you a hardworking student in high school too?
Yeah, I was. I had good grades, but I was also working for them, but not like extremely a lot.
Hmm.
But I had good grades in science and mathematics, but not in history and geography. For those subjects, I did not study a lot as I did for science and mathematics because I didn't care about those subjects. If I had a 60 out of 100, then I was happy. But there were also subjects like French, where I had to study a lot and still get like a 55 out of 100, even though I worked hard for the tests. But then I
Hmm.
was happy with the 55 because I had so much trouble with French. But yeah,
Um,
I was a good student.
so
Also, yeah,
yeah, go ahead.
yeah, go on.
Um, we I wanted to ask this one because I think it's just awesome. Skincare routine because you are glowing.
I'll tell you the secret. The secret is just have like a very bright lamp and shine it in your face. That's a skincare routine.
You
That's
heard it
everything.
here, guys. That's the secret. That's the
Yeah,
secret
that's it.
coming from Sven. Well,
Yeah, I don't.
so what we're gonna do is we'll if you guys have any more questions, we'll take maybe a few more questions. Sven, so I do have just another just question for you and just a general question, but when it comes to like the people say like the methods of or the techniques or the approach, this approach for you seems to work out really well. Are there any other things that have influenced you over the course of the 7 months that you've study streamed to where you want to like maybe elect to use in your study streams moving forward? So is there any other techniques or study tips or things that you've learned along the way that you seem to want to use, or do you feel like just what you're doing now is exactly what is really working?
I feel like the last thing is the case for me. I'm fine with what I'm doing and I'm comfortable and I think this is working
Mm,
because there's like maybe I sometimes look at other study streamers to see like what are they doing. Maybe I can change something, but I'm happy with what I'm doing now because I saw some people like having a second monitor in the back with people on Discord, but I don't think that's something I need because that would be something I I would be worried about, like, is everything working?
Mm-hmm.
Are the people not doing something inappropriate in the background? So that's why I don't. I'm perfectly happy with what I'm doing. I think
Awesome.
this is perfect.
And we'll take this last question from Your Honor. Thank you, Your Honor. I think that's just one of the best monikers on YouTube as well, along with Brad Pitt. How do you get enough sleep? And then we'll just kind of wrap up our time with this last question. How do you get enough sleep?
Yeah, of course. Your Honor would know I am very like focused on sleep. I think this is important
Mm-hmm.
to get enough sleep, because if you don't have enough sleep, then you don't have energy to study.
Mm-hmm.
So how do I get enough sleep? I think you're referring to when I have exams and I study a lot, but still manage to do my 8 hours sleep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, during exams, it's really for me just studying, eating, and sleeping most of the time. I also saw friends. Yeah, it's just you have to be disciplined and always wake up and go to sleep at the same hour.
Mm-hmm.
I woke up at 7 a.m. every day, and then start streaming at 8 a.m. And then the stream will be on all day until 9 p.m.
Mm-hmm.
And then I still have 2 hours left to relax, 2 hours after the stream.
Mm-hmm.
So I think I just utilize my time pretty good. And then, yeah, 2 hours to relax. And then it's 11 p.m. and then I go to sleep. And then the next day, the same thing.
So
I did have time sometimes to see my friends. But then I told them, like, okay, I need to go to sleep. And then I'm leaving.
So I think a lot of your commitment to the study stream obviously has helped with time management as well,
Mm.
because you've been able to say like, okay, I as much as I want to go do this, I have to kind of get a block of time where I dedicate to streaming, and then knowing that, you have that responsibility that we were kind of talking about, or that feeling of responsibility, it kind of helps you, it motivates you to be there even when there's days that you don't want to be there. We'll actually take this last question from Eng. And how do you fix a sleep schedule when you mess it up? So, just you were kind of touching on it already, but if you can tell us what your thoughts are on that.
I know for a fact that it's not easy to change your sleep schedule, because I once tried changing it. But now that I think about it, I tried changing it to the worse instead of to the better, because I was trying to change my sleeping, no, my study time to
Mhm.
night. I was trying to study at night.
Right.
So what I did was, and I think that's how you're supposed to do it. So that's what I would say. That's how
Hmm.
I tried it, but it did not work for me. But maybe it will work for you.
Hmm.
It's like do what you're doing now, and then always try to wake up, change it little by little, like half an hour, and then um, half an hour extra, and then next week half an hour, but slow steps. I think you need to take slow steps, and that's not what I did. I did like 1 hour, and then 2 days later I woke up earlier, another hour.
Hmm.
So try to take little steps towards your goal of having a good sleeping schedule. I know it's not going to be difficult, but I would say small steps.
Definitely small steps. I would echo that too. I think all of us at one point in time, especially whether you're in even starting as early as middle school, high school, like going into college or even post grad, especially where it kind of gets a little bit more heavy. Like we all kind of deal with sleep issues along the way. So definitely do something, go into a rhythm, guys. Make sure that you figure out what a good rhythm is for you so you get enough sleep and rest. Well, Sven, thank you so much. This was fun. This was a lot of fun, and
This
I
was
had a really great time, hanging out with you and getting to
yeah.
know you. So thank you so much for your time.
I was happy that I could be here. I wanted to continue. Honestly, I'm having fun.
Oh, good. See, and that's kind of the biggest hope I have for this type of conversation. And I would say like if you are willing to, I'd love to have you back on a podcast talking about something, maybe a different topic. We can talk about something else, but I'd love to have you back on the podcast for sure. if you're open
I
to
would
it.
not say no to that.
Well, and like I said, this was a lot of fun for me. This was great, and the interaction with the questions that we were getting were really entertaining and fun. And I do have to say though, like just for me personally, I do like your approach. I feel like it's just simple. And if I may just kind of say so, it's just simple, and you take the approach of not worrying about what others think and just kind of focusing more on what you need and hoping that helps other people. And I've seen that just in kind of our conversation so far. So it's really refreshing and kind of nice to hear your perspective and everything like that. So again, thank you so much, Sven. This was so much fun.
It was fun.
All right, everybody. So we are going to go ahead and wrap up. I just want to thank you guys so much for being here and for taking some time out of your day to hang out with me and Sven. If you haven't done so already, I would love for you to hit the subscribe button and the like button. But also, please do me a huge favor. There is a description below where you're going to see Sven's information. And, it links to his Discord. I believe links especially to his YouTube channel. Please do not forget to subscribe to his YouTube channel. This has been really refreshing for me. And we will be back next week with Ellis, actually. Ellis, who was in the chat just a little bit ago, or who is still here, hopefully. We'll have a conversation with him. But in the meantime, guys, I want to say, remember to always be kind and to rewind. Thanks so much for being here. We'll see you next week. See you guys. Hadouken!